Marshals, Pete Pavia from Rochester, New York, Jerry Donahue from Havertown, Pennsylvania, and Ed Hightower from Alton, Illinois. Rick Fox, Mike Maddox ready to go. The semifinals are underway, and Kansas in the blue uniform starts out with Alonzo Jamison. In the corner to Maddox. He'll take the baseline on Lynch. Cross-court pass. The jumper well short by Adonis Jordan. Here comes North Carolina for the first time with King Rice. Over to Chilcutt.
Great man by both teams.
Fox takes the jumper. Way too strong. Jamison with the rebound.
Jamison doing a great job altering that shot. A very, very outstanding defensive player, as we know, on what he did to Todd Day in the second half of the Arkansas game.
Chilcutt had denied inside the entry pass, so they swing it back around. Maddox now back out to Jordan. He'll take the three-pointer. Yes!
Double team by Rice. Nobody picked up. He got stuck without a man.
Rice driving. King Rice. And the rebound by Chilcutt. Offensive rebound and bucket by Pete Chilcutt.
And Jim, if North Carolina does have an advantage, if the ball gets down in the low paint like that, I believe that's where they have the advantage on Kansas. Kansas on the advantage out on the perimeter.
Terry Brown with the awkward jumper off the rim and out of bounds. It belongs to North Carolina. So Adonis Jordan with a three-pointer for Kansas. Chilcutt with the basket for Carolina. Opening minute of play. This North Carolina team led by a nucleus of three seniors. King Rice, Rick Fox, and Pete Chilcutt.
Very important for King Rice to keep his dribble alive because of the overplays. Same thing for Jordan on the other end.
Fox gets it inside. Lynch makes the nice move in the basket.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. More power on the paint.
Jordan with Rice on him. Stops the dribble, gets it over to Randall. Underneath to Alonzo Jamison.
How about that quickness with his footwork? Great drop step inside.
Coming off 26 points and 9 rebounds in the regional final against Arkansas.
There we go. Picking up the dribble much too far away. That'll get you in trouble against a club like Kansas.
Jordan scoops it up, drives, too strong. Fox on the rebound.
And
Great opportunity,
Lynch.
yes.
Lynch doesn't turn around.
Maddox makes the steal.
I don't know why George Lynch didn't keep his eye on the ball that time, because he was wide open.
Inside Randall, pump fakes, follows, scores.
Jim, again, a real key in this game for both Jordan and Rice. They have got to keep the dribble alive so that the cuts can be made. The minute they pick it up, everybody overplays and there's no passing lane.
Underneath to Lynch. Missing the layup, the tip by Chilcutt. And picked up by Brown. Chilcutt with his second offensive rebound. Couldn't follow it this time. Maddox from the corner. And Chilcutt takes it away from his own teammate.
You know, I think that Chilcutt is totally exhausted. And that's that nervous energy that hits a player that gets up too high for the game. I would expect him to come out right away.
Rick Fox drives Jamison to the floor. Offensive foul on Rick Fox. And substitutions for North Carolina. Clifford Rozier comes in. Sean Tunstall you're looking at for Kansas. And Billy, you're right, Chilcutt will sit. Eric Montross comes in, the freshman from right here in Indianapolis for the Tar Heels.
Jim, North Carolina does substitute early and often, but it's amazing how the emotional energy. There's the double team we talked about in the pregame show.
Two-pointer short. Maddox finds the loose ball and scores for Kansas. Now 9-4. Fox gets Jamison to commit. Back out to Rice for a three-pointer.
Good block out.
Underneath, follows, score it. Hubert Davis.
Great block out by Jamison inside. Unfortunately for him, the ball went to the other side of the basket. See, bodies on everybody. Great job by Randall on the inside. Good block out everywhere around it, except the ball happens to go to the other side of the basket. Davis there for the pickup and the put away.
Looked like Clifford Rozier may have gotten away with one. His arms were locked with a Kansas player, and he took him out.
Jim, we're going to see a lot of bodies here. Kansas sets great solid screens. They block out extremely well. You know you've been in the game physically when you play them.
All right, three-point opportunity for Davis. The foul went against Terry Brown. That pulls Carolina within 2.
Mass substitutions as usual. There's the double team trap. Should be somebody alone under the basket. Too late.
Davis takes it away. Jam time for Carolina.
Brown was wide open.
Woodbury just into the game. Finds the open man, Randall. Back into a corner. Terry Brown, three-pointer. Missing for the second time. On the floor. Picked up by Carolina. Derek Phelps ahead to Fox. Skipped it over to Davis, who was hit, but no call.
Good defense by Brown. Right out on him.
Fox makes the save for the Heels. Davis will bring it back out.
Both teams are a little bit excited. They've got to get back in their offense. Dean Smith telling them to pull the ball back out a second. Montross, too big.
And yes, and a foul. 3 freshmen on the floor for North Carolina, and Eric Montross comes home to Indianapolis and scores quickly.
Here is the advantage North Carolina has. Down on the blocks, they are about 2 inches taller per man. Montross, in addition to having the size in height, also has the great width to take up a lot of space inside. We'll see the pass cross court. Montross gets excellent position, holds his man off, and just keeps the ball above his head. Excellent play.
Now the 7-foot freshman.
Not a good free thrower.
Missed the three-point opportunity. A 7-0 run by North Carolina.
Richard Scott, who had that tough break yesterday in practice, looking like a severe sprain of the ankle out there, and he's running fairly well.
Henrik Rodel is in for the Heels.
Kansas has brought their offense up higher now, looking for some backdoor cuts.
Woodbury with Chilcutt all over. Tunstall with 15 on the shot clock.
Great defense by North Carolina on this occasion.
Adonis Jordan, three-pointer, in and out. Rodel with the rebound. Brings it up quickly. Freshman Phelps resets.
There was a pretty good back screen by Chilcutt.
Chilcutt gets the pass over to Fox. Turnaround shot is short. And it's off Kansas. 14:35 left in the first half. Carolina on a run and a 2-point lead.
We'll see Adonis Jordan with his head facing in this direction. As it does, watch for the double team by North Carolina. It really becomes a triple team because he can't go anywhere in the backcourt. Also, keep your eye on Brown because he's going to be wide open, but there's no way for Jordan to get him the ball, and a steal.
Carolina scores on the inbound play to Montross, his second basket.
Jim, if you notice any tendency so far is that North Carolina really has a huge advantage down on the blocks with their size.
And the freshman Montross off to a terrific start.
You can't even see Scott when he gets in front of him down there. Scott's going to have to use his quickness.
Jamison drives, lost it, but off Carolina.
Jamison, of course, was the MVP of the Southeast Regional. Played statistically much better than he has all year long, but talking to people that saw a lot of Big 8 basketball, they felt all year long he was an outstanding performer.
Tunstall goes to the bench. Brown returns for the Jayhawks.
Switch on the out-of-bounds play.
Scott in the lane, back to the rim. Montross just with the height advantage took it away. Pass up court, Reese swatted away, score the basket. Brian Reese, a freshman from the Bronx, New York, scores in Carolina with 11 unanswered.
You can see now why the people of the state of Indiana hated to see Montross leave this state to go to college. He has been the difference so far early in the game. Good hit ahead to Reese, who has the ability to finish a play well. And the goaltend.
15-9, North Carolina. Lonzo Jamison.
Nice pass.
Right over to Maddox. Missed the short one. Chilcutt tipped it up. They say he was on the back of Scott. So a foul against Carolina's Chilcutt.
Kind of a touch call there. Chilcutt was over Scott by about 1.5 feet when he tapped that ball out to start what it would have been an easy break.
First on Chilcutt, second on the Tar Heels.
Now watch these out-of-bounds plays. North Carolina knows them as well as does Kansas. And when they run it, there's an awful lot of switching down inside.
Lynch in for Montross. And Randall returns for the Jayhawks. Scott will sit. Yeah, the inbounds plays already worked once for North Carolina a moment ago. They got the easy basket inside with Montross. Now he needs some help.
Yep, not guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds.
Brown misses the jumper. Chilcutt with the rebound. Snaps it out to Rice. He's got a trailer with Davis. There he is. Couldn't find the handle.
Bad angle for that pass, Jim. You'd like to be able to pass that ball on a 2-on-1 fast break at a 45. Anytime you have to throw it straight across court, it's very difficult to catch.
Great angle here, Billy, to see what they're doing defensively.
Overplaying every pass. And so far, Jordan hasn't penetrated with the dribble.
Kansas has missed its last 5 shots.
Good weak side help.
Well, they had Lynch and Chilcutt down low on Randall. Kansas will inbound.
We talked about this being a game of execution, and so far, 2 things. North Carolina's size and their execution has been superior.
Oh, a near steal by Lynch. Would have been a breakaway layup and a jam, I'm sure, but a foul called instead.
Mike Maddox, talking to him yesterday, of course, we know about his back problems. And somebody asked if he could make it. I believe it was Eddie Fogler, and he said, hey, there's just 2 more games to go. My back can get through 2 games. You can count on that.
2 degenerative disc in his back, and then it's on to law school after this one, after this week. Randall from the baseline, well short. He hasn't gotten started yet. Fox out of bounds. Kansas keeps it. Well, you talk about all-time number of victories.
Well, they battled back and forth between Kentucky and North Carolina all year long, with Carolina finally taking the lead.
Wagner is in. Kirk Wagner for Kansas. A double team in the corner and a steal by North Carolina.
Well, what a bad place to put the ball, Jim, down in the deep corner. Jamison had no chance there.
Richard Scott is back in for Kansas.
North Carolina setting their offense up much higher now, looking for a back pick and a back cut. Davis
underneath. Pump fake.
Oh, he missed it.
How did that come out?
Everybody from North Carolina headed in the other direction. Well, that's the first backdoor play we've seen by either team.
Scott, that's how he gets the roll.
Left hand, good play.
That breaks the dry spell for Kansas. They've gone 4.5 minutes without scoring. Chilcutt posting up over Wagner, too strong. There's a strong rebound for you. Alonzo Jamison.
Nobody stopping Jordan. He had a jump shot.
On the blocks, Wagner. Tip, no good. Jamison.
I believe it was Scott, Jim.
It is Scott. It's Richard Scott in and out of the game. And
that ankle injury from yesterday, if you'd have seen him withering in pain, you never thought he'd be able to come out and play like that. Good D.
Jordan taking a piece of the arm of Rice, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, he was right on Rice on that play. King Rice, the young man that went to the line for the pressure shots of his career against Temple and buried 4 as the game wound down in what was one of the real good ball games, I thought, of the regionals. Great show by Mark Macon of Temple, finishing up his career.
Probably, in fact, the best game of the regionals. King Rice now, after going 9 for 9 in the East Regionals. He'll shoot 2. You know what was really impressive about King Rice's performance in the 2 games at the Meadowlands? 13 assists, only 1 turnover. This for a young man who earlier in the season was greeted with a chorus of boos in a game against UConn. So King Rice delivers again. It's a 4-point lead for North Carolina as we approach the midway point of the first half. Billy, let's look at the double team a moment ago.
Well, we talked about Dean's double, and here it is. A pass in a bad place, down the corner. No place for Jamison to put the ball on the floor. You can see the ball comes out, takes a lucky bounce for North Carolina, and King Rice was off and running.
Comes Adonis Jordan in Kansas, trailing by 4, 17-13.
Oh, look at Montross out there playing defense 30 feet away from the basket.
Jamison, nice move, missed it, but the tip in, again it's Scott.
Second good offensive putback by Scott. Scott showing all's fair in love and war. He double teams as well.
Back cut, Fox scores for Carolina.
Well, back cuts to Carolina, none Kansas so far.
And the assist to Montross. Guarding on Scott now. And a foul against Richard Scott. His second, team foul number 4.
And again, here is the evidence of the size differential. Montross just keeps his hands up. One thing you love to see a young big man do, and that is to keep his hands up above his shoulders. The John Wooden principle, you saw Bill Walton do it all his career. I'm not going to put Montross in that category yet, but a great fundamental principle that he has.
John Wooden is here at this Final Four.
Will be honored throughout the time by everybody in the state of Indiana for his great contribution to basketball.
Fox with the fadeaway basket and a foul.
An excellent entry pass. 45-degree angle. You're going to see that Fox gets Jamison on his hip. Jamison makes the move to try to get around over the top and can't get there in time. And comes down on the arm, and there's Rick Fox with the great strength that he has, putting it in for the shot.
That's the first on Jamison. Team foul number 5. 3-point play for Fox.
Of course, a reunion for Fox as well, who played high school basketball here in Indiana. There's the double team again. Wide open, not in time for Brown.
Traveling. Jordan made the move. 2 of the heels committed, but Jordan traveled first. Jim Nance along with Billy Packer. Game 1 of the national semifinals from the Hoosier Dome.
Jim, what we're seeing so far, big height advantage, North Carolina paying off. Now for the first time, Kansas goes to their 1-3-1 half-court trap. Over the top of the trap.
And Montross misses it with the left hand. Off of Randall.
You cannot play that defense 1-3-1 with Brown running the baseline. They'll throw right over the top of his head to Montross. Here we go. Or in this case, to Lynch.
Henrik Rodel will inbound. Boy, Montross is playing big in this game so far. Three-pointer by Fox. Rodel on the follow. Tip try by Montross. Fox on the save. Wow, rattles at home.
Again,
7 for Rick Fox.
Again, Montross keeping the ball alive up on the board. Even though he didn't get the rebound, he kept it alive.
Underneath Randall. Mark Randall.
Great job by Randall down inside, putting his body on Montross so he couldn't get to him.
4 for Randall. Rodel called for traveling. He wanted the foul call. Tunstall's back in for Kansas, and a couple of more subs about to enter. Patrick Ritchie and Richard Scott come back in.
Interesting that North Carolina has 2 fellas on the floor from the state of Indiana, Fox and Montross, but they have no one from the state of North Carolina on their squad, not a native.
Pete Chilcutt returns for Lynch.
You see the press, nobody guarding the ball out of bounds. Jim, I think Jordan's got to keep the ball in his dribble alive a little bit longer to get something started. He's picking it up awful early.
Ritchie's pass denied inside. Great D by Chilcutt. Ahead to Rodel. Skips it over. Fox is open for the three-pointer. And over the back is Chilcutt.
Good block out by Scott, but he's getting a little tired right now. I would imagine we'll see him coming out taking a break.
2 on Chilcutt, 4 on the Tar Heels.
The one difference I have seen in regard to North Carolina and Kansas, I haven't seen anybody from Kansas hold up the fist yet, asking to come out. Obviously a long-time tradition from North Carolina. I guess nobody wants to come out of a Final Four game.
Ritchie takes the baseline, and they say Grant was grabbed by Phelps, Derek Phelps, called for the infraction. His first and team foul number 5. And Tennessee advanced today, Billy.
Advanced against Virginia, the team that kept them, Pat Ed Summit, from being able to go to the Final Four last year. And now they get a chance to meet them for the big game.
Brian Reese is in for Coach Dean Smith. Fox will get a rest.
Sean Tunstall not able to get off the mark. He and Brown have been very hot in this tournament, and they can't get anything going.
Scott inside. Having a nice game. 8 for Richard. Scotty, again, twisted an ankle in practice yesterday, but he looks strong. From off the floor, Roto lobs it inside. Too high for Montross.
Chilcutt runs Scott down. No advantage, no foul.
Freshman Patrick Ritchie handling the ball, getting it back outside to Scott.
Ooh, what a screen by Randall.
From the floor, he loses it. Does Jordan. Phelps will bring it back out. Now on a wing, it's Reese. Good shot by the freshman.
Everybody wondered when this great freshman recruiting class was going to pay off for Dean Smith. Need they ask more? You notice how North Carolina forces baseline. They've done this for years, and then they get the weak side help. Ritchie into the traffic.
Into Scott. And a foul called on Montross.
Big half for Scott. And how about the recruiting class Roy Williams put together? You know, you didn't get all the notoriety, but he couldn't have off-campus visits.
That's what's so surprising.
It's incredible to see him do so well. He's got the good basis for a club for years to come.
Not allowed to have an on-campus paid-for visit by a recruit until January of '90, just 15 months ago.
Correct. This young man certainly showing an awful lot. Dean Smith over there trying to work the officials, saying Scott's doing a lot of leaning in.
8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive end. Freshman from Little Rock, Arkansas, shooting 2. Matter of fact, he said, I can go home and have bragging rights. After Kansas eliminated Arkansas in the Southeast Regional Final. First Arkansas player to play at Kansas in 20 years. Timeout on the court. 7:42 left in the first half. And North Carolina with a 6-point lead. Kansas field goal percentage is down for a team that's an outstanding shooting team from the floor. Backcourt scoring goes to Carolina. Fox leading the way for the Tar Heels with 7.
To amplify on that backcourt scoring, the 3 backcourt performers, Jordan and Tunstall and Brown, 1 for 8 so far. Bad catch by Chilcutt.
Somehow Davis saves it and squirts it over to Rice. Now Lynch finds Fox roaming on the baseline. Didn't know what to do with it under the cylinder. And Chilcutt missed the follow, the easy one. Second
time today. Davis before, Chilcutt on that occasion missing about an 8-inch shot.
Jamison in traffic. Foul called on Rick Fox. Let's get a report now from Leslie Visser.
Jim, in the last time out, an emotional Roy Williams told his team he wants quite a tall order. He wants them to help on the big man. He said they're being much too timid. He wants them to be certainly more aggressive, not allow so many second opportunities, and to keep moving. Jim?
Well, for that man, it's his 100th game as the head coach at Kansas. He's won 75 of his first 99. Foul on Fox, and Randall will shoot 2.
Of course, that great 30-5 season where the club was picked preseason 5th in the Big 8.
You know, Billy, in the history of college basketball, only one coach has won more games his first 3 seasons, and that was Everett Case, who won 80 at NC State.
You know, another crazy one about coaching, the only coach with a losing record in Kansas history, the man who invented the game of basketball, Dr. Naismith.
Lynch.
Nice tap in. Chilcutt had an opportunity to catch that and put it back up. He was in great position, didn't take advantage of it. Kansas starting to regain some composure now. They're just not giving Brown any opportunity to shoot that 3-point shot.
Brown's the leading scorer for the Jayhawks, 16 a game, and a turnover. At the conclusion of both of today's games, we'll be selecting Chevrolet players of the game. In conjunction with the award, Chevrolet donates $1,000 to the general scholarship fund of each school.
You see Jordan picking up much higher now, actually over on the other side of half court. Be a good time for a solid screen.
Boy, Jamison had that one read, got his feet tangled. Chilcutt takes the open shot from the baseline.
Tough break for Kansas, and Jamison hurt himself a little bit on that play. I thought he was tripped.
Dumps it into Maddox, high off the glass.
Maddox just out-positioned Chilcutt on that play. See how high Jordan is picking King Rice up now? A solid screen would work on Jordan.
Lobbing it high, Chilcutt underneath. And Jamison brings it down and sets it out for Kansas. Now Jordan will take the long three shot. Lynch on the rebound. Carolina coming right back.
Oh, there was the backdoor cut by Fox.
It would have worked.
It would have worked to perfection. Lynch just didn't hold it up. Fox faked out his own teammate.
7 turnovers for North Carolina. Perimeter shooting, how about that for Kansas? 1 of 12 as we see Montross back in the game.
And the fans sitting in this arena who are big IU fans wondering where were those shots against Bob Knight's team.
That's a game where Kansas just blew them out in the first half. Jamison, good move with men on him. Was patient on the blocks. 3-point game, 29-26 Tar Heels. Rice stopped his dribble, put up a bad shot, and a foul called on King Rice.
Well, if Roy Williams was asking for his teams to get a little more physical, Jordan showed him exactly what he meant there. The smallest guy on the floor for Kansas, but the toughest down in low.
First on King Rice and the 8th on North Carolina, so a 1-and-1 for the Jayhawks.
And Jim, on that last drive by Rice, a clear out which Carolina uses particularly when they want to go down the wire as the shot clock is ticking down or the game is. Kansas had scouted very well because they let Rice drive to the inside and then commit. And everybody played their own man, and he was forced to take a bad shot.
Adonis Jordan with a 1-and-1. Could pull Kansas within 1. You know, 2 years ago, Adonis asked his mother, how did you come across that name? And she told him about Greek mythology and how the figure was a figure of beauty in Greek mythology. And now he likes to go around and tell some people about his unique first name. Adonis missing the second one, but gets the rebound.
I see Kansas settling down. You get a feeling they're back into their game a little here.
And Maddox ties it. A 7-0 run by Kansas.
Roy Williams going wild on the sidelines. He wants his team down in defensive position, just as if he's guarding Hubert Davis himself.
Davis with nowhere to go. Rice cuts to the basket.
All hands, nice play.
King Rice with the save. Lynch underneath. Stepped on the line. Kansas basketball.
Kansas has picked it up a notch on both ends of the floor. Got their composure on the offensive end and picked up the defensive intensity. And North Carolina has not been able to get in a situation where they're getting the ball down and low, where they controlled the blocks early on in the game.
4.5 minutes left in the first half. That was touched by Montross.
No matter what the size, no matter what the position, if you play for one of these two teams, you step out to deny the ball on the wings. North Carolina goes zone. Now look for Brown. He's got to find a spot up so he can get off the three. Here he is.
Willie takes the three-pointer. You call that one. 3 for Terry Brown, his first points of the game.
And that's why Carolina is not going to play a lot of zone today.
Lynch off balance. Will go to the line for 2. Foul on Randall, his first. 6 on Kansas.
I want to point out something about Roy Williams, and for that matter, Eddie Fogler, too. 2 of the young coaches that grew up in Dean Smith's system. One of the reasons I think he has made the adjustment from assistant to head coach so well is the fact that for so many years, they were the JV coaches. And you got an opportunity to sit on that bench, call the shots, not just be an assistant coach that goes out and scouts and recruits. And here you can see on Dean Smith's side, of course, the great Phil Ford, one of his outstanding players from the past.
Lynch makes one of two. Kansas leading 32-30. Brown out to Maddox.
Brown open again.
From the corner. That sideways spin on his jumper. Davis slashing. Coming up short, Randall for Kansas.
Tremendous defensive balance by Kansas getting back. The transition from offense to defense on their part has been excellent.
Now Dean Smith off the bench. Followed by Maddox. Missed the open tip, but here comes Randall to score. Maddox had the open opportunity, much like Chilcutt did before for Carolina.
We've seen a lot of putbacks that have not been put back under control.
Foul called on Kansas, on Brown, his second, and that'll send North Carolina to the line for a 1-and-1.
Jim, it's interesting to watch the flow between these two teams. North Carolina had their good run because they settled down on the half court, started to run their offense and take advantage of their size. All of a sudden, they're getting helter-skelter. A lot of that due to Kansas's up-tempo defense. And now we see Kansas on the other end of the floor getting into their offense much better with the low post. Good floor balance.
As Brian Reese gets set to shoot a 1-and-1. More substitutions a moment ago. On the floor for Carolina, Chilcutt, Montross, Rodel, Phelps, and Reese. Missing the free throw. Randall to Tunstall. Joined on the floor by Scott, Jamison, and Brown. Before the shot, they say a push.
Going to be on Chilcutt. So far, Pete Chilcutt, the senior, and Dean Smith gets a technical. A technical on Dean Smith, but I don't agree with Coach Smith. I think that's what's happening is Pete Chilcutt is getting beat inside. Scott, Jamison, Randall are all beating him. He's been out of position inside.
So Chilcutt, Billy, slapped with his third personal.
Let's look down inside. Pete Chilcutt's behind. He just didn't do the job here. He got beat out by position. And I would certainly agree with the official. He was right on top of the call.
1-and-1 is first.
Scott having a great first half.
Now Adonis Jordan will shoot the technicals.
We talked about that stat. Kansas coming into the tournament as the 64th best free throw shooting team in the tournament. What's interesting, they play good free throw defense, Jim. Their opponents only shoot 65% against them. You know, that must be contagious. Kind of like Syracuse in the Big East for so many years.
How about the years when Kansas has had good free throw shooting teams?
Isn't that crazy? When their best free throw shooting teams are the two teams that had the poorest records.
Well, that's a break for Carolina. They make one free throw out of the bunch. It could have been four had they converted the 1-and-1 into technicals. We'll be right back.
Back here to the Hoosier Dome, Carolina trailing by 5 with under 3 to play. Dean Smith said that his team showed some atypical Carolina characteristics. One, they were outworked and they were out-hustled, did not have their composure along the baseline. Kansas, trying to not respect the fact that Carolina is taller and stronger, has been getting an awful lot of productivity on the inside. Let's go back to Jim.
All right, James, a timeout called by Jamison at the last moment as they cannot find anyone open on the inbounds pass. During the last timeout, King Rice out doing some politicking for the Tar Heels. He talked to all of the officials, Billy. Did you notice that?
Well, I'm sure that he was sent out there by Dean Smith to talk about the pushing and holding inside. Merely a psychological ploy by Dean Smith, because he certainly, even at not being able to see the replay, has to realize that Kansas is out hustling his ball club down on the inside. That was not a push off at all on the part of that last play, and certainly didn't warrant a technical foul from a standpoint of his objection to the call. The referee was absolutely on the money there. Jim, another point I want to make is the reason that Kansas could not get the ball in there is the fact that Carolina was automatically switching out front and picking up the man even on the screen. Tough time to go ahead and waste a timeout in a situation like this.
What do you think Dean Smith's telling his team right now as Kansas is on a run?
Well, the key thing that he's got to tell his ball club right now is to get back in patient half-court offense. They have been very much helter-skelter when they got the ball over half-court. They've got to go back to get that ball down into the low post and go over the top of the defense of Kansas.
It's a 16-3 run for the Jayhawks. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Jim, if heaven is a playground, it's quite possibly a dome. This hallowed hall that we're in is 19 stories high and 2 city blocks long. I talked to George Lynch before the game. He said he loves playing here. They hadn't played in a dome all year, but he loves having 47,000 people screaming. Jim?
Well, I'll tell you, the team with the Midwest Dome experience is certainly Duke, having come out of the Metrodome and the Silverdome to get to the Hoosier Dome. We'll see Duke and UNLV in our second national semifinal. There it is, 16-3, the last 7 minutes.
And Jim, let's see if Kansas doesn't go for a strike trying to score on this out-of-bounds play. I thought they might go long and try to strike because North Carolina was overplaying so much.
Derek Phelps guarding Jordan. Lynch jumps out on Jamison. Good passing, quickly around the perimeter. And off Carolina. Let's get another report now from James Brown.
All right, Jimmy. Dean Smith, ever the role model, had been admonishing his team for losing its composure on the last several plays. The last time out, he apologized to his team, saying, fellas, I lost my composure. Don't worry about me. I'm just trying to fire you up. Let's get back to Jim.
You can see how North Carolina trying to force Brown, the dribbler, to go baseline.
Randall on the run. Oh! Long tip try by Maddox, and Lynch has the rebound. He's the top rebounder for North Carolina, George Lynch.
Let's see if North Carolina will get the ball down inside.
King Rice will take the outside shot.
That's not their play. And that's another one on Montross, that time leaning over the tops. That's his second, and Chilcutt has 3.
And the double bonus situation, 10 fouls on the Tar Heels. So Kansas will shoot 2.
King Rice had 5 threes against Wake Forest in a game earlier this year when he hit for 22 points in one of his outstanding offensive performances. But right now, if you're Dean Smith, you want that ball down inside to try to go ahead and regain that supremacy they had in the paint.
6'9" senior Mark Randall. He has played in exactly 100 Kansas victories in his career. Got a ring for playing on the, well, for being a member of the team of the '88 championship team, although he was redshirted that year. So he has put the ring away in his mother's safety deposit box and wants to go earn one, he feels, on the court.
Great high school All-American out of Colorado. Much expected of him. Now they drop back to the 1-3-1 zone. North Carolina having all kinds of trouble scoring. Dangerous pass. Telegraph.
Jamison looking around. He'll take the shot. Tip in by Randall.
How many times today has Randall followed up beautifully working the offensive glass? And North Carolina throwing very dangerous lob passes over that 1-3-1 trap.
Carolina had an 8-point lead earlier in the game. Now Kansas with a 9-point edge, the largest. Carolina has not scored from the floor in 5 minutes. Davis, he loves the outside. He hits the 3.
Walter Davis's nephew went from a marginal recruit in the last month and a half to a very solid player for this team. Kansas starting to gain some confidence. You can feel it, Jim. They're starting to work their offense much better. Now look at how tight the offense is down low.
A 3 for Kansas. Terry Brown. There's Adonis Jordan. Jordan's 3 puts Kansas back in front by 9.
So Davis picks up his dribble again. A dangerous thing to do against these clubs.
Baseline Lynch. He was hacked. Well, this is an unheralded player for North Carolina. As you look at Mike Maddox of Kansas, called for his first. But George Lynch will come to the free throw line. Pat Sullivan's in for Carolina. In for Reese. And George Lynch is the top rebounder and #3 scorer. Although you really wouldn't know it, would you, Billy?
A ferocious rebounder inside. A lot expected of this young man offensively this year, and I think that his production, although not sensational, has been very solid. One of the things, Jim, that has surprised me somewhat is to see within the same half North Carolina play so well, and then Kansas turn the game completely around by being so much more composed.
Now, final 25 seconds of the half.
And there's the 1-3-1 by North Carolina. Sullivan on the reach.
That'll send Jordan to the line for 2.
And amazingly, North Carolina, with all of their substitutions and the deep bench, finds themselves for the first time in a long time that I can remember in serious foul trouble with key players who they'd like to go with for extended periods in the second half, having some foul problems.
8 points and 4 assists for the point guard from Kansas. 2 of 5, however, from the free throw line.
To me, Jordan has shown tremendous ability out there from a stamina standpoint in this first half on both ends of the floor. He doesn't look like he's even breathing heavy.
Defensive substitution just prior to the half. Randall will sit down, and Johanning is in for the Jayhawks. We'll want Randall to pick up a foul at this point. They lob it to Rice.
Good speed by Jamison, chasing him down.
Lynch could not make the save. Kansas gets it on the turnover. 10 turnovers in the first half on North Carolina.
North Carolina really rattled. That was a pass not too difficult to handle.
Brown is back. Randall is back in also. And Kenny Harris for North Carolina.
Is it amazing the confidence Dean Smith has in his substitution patterns? I mean, here you're down 9. In a situation where very little time to go. Wants to make sure nobody gets in foul trouble. Brings in Kenny Harris, who hadn't played at all in the half.
There's the turnover right back. Kansas commits this one.
And Dean Smith will come right back at Lynch in the game to try to go ahead and score.
And Fox.
He's got 13 seconds.
To embellish what you were saying, Billy, Carolina has played 12 players in the first half.
Well, that would be expected. One of the things, obviously, is that Williams is countered in every respect, not only with the defensive changes, but the substitution pattern.
Johanning right back in. Last touch by Kansas.
Now, there was a backdoor cut available for King Rice, but you'd hate to think that Montross is the man that's got to go ahead and make the feed from out in the 35 feet away. Another dangerous pass.
Fox. Lynch takes the 3. Way too strong on the follow. Fox missed the follow. And Kansas has a 9-point lead at halftime.
And give that man a lot of credit. He got the spirit rolling for KU, excuse me.
Carolina with 1 field goal, a 3-pointer in the final 6:48 of the first half. So the score is Kansas 43, North Carolina 34. CBS Sports coverage of the Final Four will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1991 NCAA Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by McDonald's. Always good food, always good value. Employee owners of Avis, we're trying harder than ever. And by Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows. CBS Sports presents The Prudential at the Half, sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
When Dorothy left Kansas, she and her tribe were looking for brains, heart, and courage. The Jayhawks have brought all of that to the first half, and they lead by 9 at halftime. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, and once again, welcome to the Prudential at the Half. Mike Francesa is here. About 5 minutes before they started the game, I saw Dean Smith, and he said, what we have to do is play smart today. They ain't doing that, are they?
No, they didn't. They got off and executed well, utilized their inside advantage early in the game, got away from that, started throwing the ball away, making bad decisions. We talked in the pregame about Kansas's resiliency, mental, physical toughness. When challenged, when they weren't hitting from the perimeter, when they were getting hurt inside, they stepped it up both ends of the floor. This is a very tough team, mentally, physically, and they upped their intensity and came through and turned things around in the first half. They've been able to do that throughout the entire tournament.
North Carolina down by 9. Let's break away for just a minute, Mike, with a special award presentation. And here now is James Brown.
Today, here in Indianapolis, we're going to end this year's edition of the Chevrolet Scholarship Program by presenting the Player and Coach of the Year awards as selected by the CBS Sports staff. And with me to present the awards is Frank Rain from Chevrolet.
Thanks, James. It's great to be here. Over the past 21 years, contributions from the Chevrolet Scholarship Program have surpassed the $3.5 million mark. And again this season, contributions made during every college basketball telecast on CBS have assisted students nationwide in their pursuit of higher education. At Chevrolet, we understand what it means to be committed to excellence. It's the spirit that drives everything we do. And it's in this spirit that we're pleased to honor the best.
And now, the Coach of the Year winner. He is Randy Ayers from Ohio State. In only a second year at the helm, Big Ten Coach of the Year Randy Ayers led the Buckeyes to their first Big Ten crown since 1971. His team set school records for most Big Ten and season wins and finished the regular season ranked number 5 in the nation.
Congratulations, Coach Ayers. It gives me great pleasure to present you with this trophy as Coach of the Year and a check from Chevrolet in the amount of $2,500 to the Ohio State University General Scholarship Fund.
Thank you, Frank. I'd like to thank Chevrolet for not only this award, but for the support you give to college athletics. Through your efforts, we can provide a lot of opportunity for young people. I'd also like to thank my coaching staff, players, and the administration at The Ohio State University for giving me such a great opportunity. With this award and with their efforts, it's provided me a season I'll remember for a long time.
James, it had to be hard to select one player of the year.
Frank, indeed it was. However, we have made a selection, and it's Larry Johnson from UNLV. The dominant player on the nation's dominant team, Larry led the Running Rebels in scoring and rebounding in 22 of their 34 games. Larry's unique combination of size, strength, and speed, along with impressive scoring and rebounding numbers, earned him UNLV's first ever consensus All-America selection.
Congratulations, Larry. It's my honor and pleasure to present you with this trophy as Chevrolet's Player of the Year.
Thank you, Frank. On behalf of myself, my teammates, and the coaching staff at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, we would like to thank Chevrolet and CBS for this most prestigious award. We greatly appreciate it.
Larry, let me add my congratulations to both you and to Coach Ayers, and to you, Frank, for your continued support of college athletics through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program.
Congratulations to them both, and we'll see Larry Johnson a little later on. How great a player is he, huh? When we come back here, we'll swing around the Hoosier Dome for team reports as the Prudential at the Half rolls on from Nap City after a commercial. Stay with us.
As we enjoy this great American tradition, college basketball, let's salute all the student athletes, all those men and women who are working hard toward their academic degrees. They know that the NCAA Foundation is committed to helping them graduate, to get ahead in the game of life. They know that the only way to compete off the court is to stay in school. So enjoy the competition that gets your degree.
The Hoosier Dome actually takes up about 8 acres, and that camera is 19 stories above the court here. Kansas leads North Carolina 43-34. Welcome back to the Prudential at the Half. Leslie Visser, of course, is with us, and she's covering the Kansas story this afternoon tonight. Leslie?
Pat, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest system of them all? Well, early on, it was Carolina. Then it was Kansas. They came back. And one of the reasons they came back is they were able to put pressure on the ball. They forced 10 turnovers. According to assistant coach Jerry Green, that was key. They also want to now force Chilcutt to put the ball on the floor because he has 3 fouls. They'd like him to pick up his 4th. For what's going on the other side, let's go over to James Brown. JB?
All right, Leslie, thank you very much. And apparently what Dean Smith said to me at the top of the day has in fact come true in the first half, that he was afraid of what Roy Williams might have up his sleeve. What Roy Williams had up his sleeve, out-rebounding Carolina in the first half, 25-22. That's been 90% of the conversation with Dean Smith and his team right now. Frustration, mostly on the face of Dean Smith. That was the result of that technical foul he got. Let's go back upstairs to Pat.
All right, James, Leslie, thank you. What does Dean have to do to get back in this thing?
They have to be patient, utilize that inside advantage, take care of the basketball in the half court, but I like the situation that Kansas is in right now. They stepped it up, and I think they're in control.
All right, Mike, it is time now for the second half. Jim and Billy are set to go back to work. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us on the Prudential at the Half. Enjoy the second half here on CBS after a commercial and a word from your local station.
The Prudential at the Half was sponsored by The Prudential. Come to the companies of The Prudential and build your future on the rock. CBS Sports coverage of the 1991 NCAA Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Mass Mutual. At Mass Mutual, we help you keep your promises. And by Hertz, whether you rent a car for business or pleasure, Hertz is America's wheels. Kansas leading the first game in the national semifinals at halftime, 43-34. Let's check the numbers for you. Look at the substitutions, Billy.
Been like a track meet, revolving door for both teams, but that's what we expected. They mirror image each other.
57 substitutions overall. Carolina with a paucity of scoring in the last 9 minutes of the first half. Front court scoring goes to Kansas. And the leading scorers, Randall, who's had a lot of putbacks with 11 points, and Hubert Davis has 8. Jim Nance and Billy Packer with you. And Billy, let's talk about now the way Kansas has been coming out, much like UNLV in this tournament, and exploding at the beginning of the second half as well.
Well, it makes no difference whether they're up 10 or down 10. They have come out, and Jim, let me just give them to you. Against Arkansas, the first 9 possessions they scored in the second half. Indiana, the first 5. Pittsburgh, 7 of the first 9, and against New Orleans, 7 of the first 8. So if I was North Carolina, I would really be worried about the position you find yourself right now.
22-1 when leading at the half. And as you ran down the ledger at halftime from the tournament, it's interesting to note that the closest anyone has played Kansas in the end is the University of New Orleans in the first round game. Kansas won that one 55-49 against a UNO team some said should not have been given an at-large berth into the tournament.
Well, that may be true, and of course we got to remember Pittsburgh had them at the end of regulation in the perfect spot. It was a tie. It was 11, obviously it went overtime.
11-point win, right. But it was an overtime.
Let's see if North Carolina can get back into the offense that got them the lead, which was to get the ball down inside to their big people. Great ball pressure by Kansas.
Maddox on Lynch.
Dribble penetration is available, but North Carolina doesn't like to take advantage of that. They have total movement, but they like to pass as opposed to dribble.
Deflected off Kansas, 20 on the shot clock. First possession of the second half.
Excellent job by Randall in the first half. Jim, we were talking about, you hardly realize he's on the floor in the half court, and he's got 11 points. Good putbacks. There's what I'm talking about. Dribble penetration is available.
George Lynch draws the foul on Jamison, number 2.
The point I want to make, and I think a real mark for Roy Williams, is the fact that he got his team to be more aggressive. You notice when Lynch drove to the basket, nobody from North Carolina was getting in position to rebound on the miss. Something Kansas has done very well on their end of the floor.
Lynch from Roanoke, Virginia, had played with an ACC All-Star team over the summer. coached by Gary Williams. And Williams, Maryland coach, said that Lynch was his most impressive player. So he has proven that this season as well, to be really quite a contributor to Carolina. Almost a steal by Fox. Jamison turnaround in and out.
There must be something about that basket. Balls seem to be right in, and they come back out again. North Carolina had 2 in the first half.
Lynch calls for it, gets it, and puts it in off the glass.
And that was the key early in this ball game, going over the top of the defense.
7 for Lynch. Double teaming Brown. Ooh, foul called there against North Carolina.
Big break for Kansas. We'll see. There goes the ball right over the top. Too late for weak side defensive help. Lynch does a good job going straight up. Maddox, who's not a great leaper, not there in time to block the shot.
Second on Lynch. Kansas inbounds underneath. Maddox finds at the last moment. Jordan, fade away, no good. Break opportunity here for North Carolina. Rice with a trailer. He'll take it and score it.
Good no call by the official. No advantage gained by the defender or the offensive drive player, Rice.
First 5 points of the second half to the Tar Heels to slice the lead to 4. Maddox on the drive. The
what a
baseline shot.
There's the veteran. The only player that played in the '88 Final Four.
Lynch comes right back. 5 in the second half for Lynch, 9 overall.
Randall had Lynch. Maddox couldn't get him the ball quickly enough.
Terry Brown. That's another in and out. Jamison with people on him. Last touch, they say, by Fox of North Carolina.
Nice job by Maddox by not fouling, going over the top. Jamison just not having enough size to power that one up in.
Montross with his first appearance of the second half. Rice will sit, so will Lynch. Derek Phelps is also in.
Jim Dean Smith must believe that he can fatigue Kansas, even though he knows they have a good bench, because he goes to the substitution early in the second half. Normally he'll stay with those starters a little bit longer.
Jamison working hard inside.
Boy, he is so quick down in the low blocks.
Fox gets Jamison to commit. Tried to dump it inside the choke. That someone got a hand on it. Kansas steals it.
Quarters were too close that time to try to make the pass inside.
Brown now wanting it. Back of the rim. Jamison follows.
Doing a superior job on the offensive board.
Underneath. Jamison makes the block on Davis. Jordan to the hole. Underneath to Randall.
Good pass.
Kansas with its largest lead. It's a 10-point lead.
And Jim, in close quarters, if you'll put the ball down on the floor as Jordan did, as opposed to over the top as North Carolina did on the other end, it's a pass you can handle. When you try to go over the top in close quarters, there's nothing there except hands.
Foul called on Jamison. He now has 3. So more substitutions. Scott comes in. So does Woodbury for Kansas. Maddox will rest along with Jamison.
Nice counter by Roy Williams here, because he's got himself a working margin, and he's going to go ahead and say, Dean Smith, are you going to wear my club down? Watch this. He takes out 2 starters and comes back in with Scott, who gave him a great play in the first half.
King Rice now handling again the basketball for North Carolina to Montross.
Overplay by Woodbury. Fox not going back door. I think back doors are available.
Davis in the lane.
Has his dribble penetration.
It's pretty smooth, isn't he?
Yep.
Kansas by 8. Fox got a hand on it.
You know, both teams probably worked on backdoor cuts so much. And they do always, but I mean over the course of this week, and they're reluctant to use the backdoor because they figure the other guy can defend it, but I think the backdoor cuts are really there.
Lynch with the steal. Great job of denying. Sets up Cox.
Little flat.
Davis chases it down. Carolina reset. Traveling call. North Carolina turnovers. Kansas leading in the second half.
With Carolina trailing by 8, under 16 minutes of play left in the game, that timeout used by Dean Smith was emphasizing defensive elements. As Billy Packer indicated, the back doors are there. Dean Smith said it's a passive overplay. The second thing, you need to force them to put the ball on the floor so that our trap can be more effective. Let's go back to Jimmy.
All right, James, a foul called against Kansas. Richard Scott. So a break opportunity here for North Carolina. King Rice will inbound.
See again, there's Lynch being overplayed by Scott. He needs to go at Scott and then go back door.
Last touch by Kansas. Carolina keeps it. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Jim, not surprisingly, Roy Williams' huddle was not so much unlike Dean Smith. He wants them also to emphasize defense. He wants them to put a body to help out. He also wants them offensively to set some screens for Terry Brown. Jim?
A near steal by Kansas, Leslie, but a foul called on the Jayhawks. Steve Woodbury, his first, team foul number 4.
Kansas has been having some problems with the North Carolina out-of-bounds plays. I mean, that could have turned into an easy score had it been handled properly. And here you see Williams coming back with Maddox and Jamison. Gets Randall out, so he wants some of his experienced players on the floor, but not having all of them out at one time.
Fox on the drive. Fox scores. They say no basket. No basket. The foul was before the shot.
Well, Dean Smith better be careful because he already has one technical. But here's the dribble penetration I've been harping on. It is there. To me, that should have been a basket and one. The reach was there, but he was in the act of shooting.
Lonzo Jamison has 4 now. He was called for his 4th. Rick Fox comes right back, three-pointer, around and out. Ritchie tries to get it for Kansas. Last touch by Fox.
Fox
Kansas
very
basketball.
frustrated, Jim. Look at the facial expression he has right there. He's not hitting. Gets frustrated on that last call.
He's only 3 for 11 from the floor. Brown lobs it inside to Scott. Good shot. 12 points for Scott.
He's having a great game. Again, dribble penetration.
Lynch with the move on the drive. Good shot by Lynch.
I guarantee you on the next timeout, Roy Williams is going to talk to his guys about setting down on their feet because Carolina going by him on the dribble. A big change in philosophy by the Carolina players. And again, he asked for the solid screen on Brown. He wants to get it started.
In and out for Jordan. And last touch by Kansas. That cylinder, you're right, Billy. It's jinxed.
Toughest rim I've seen in a while. And Roy Williams made a great point over there in the timeout. If he said to his team, get some solid screens for Brown. Because North Carolina is not releasing on Brown, therefore he can't get any three-pointers off. And you don't want him to be buried and not get rolling in a game like this. You're going to need some from him. There goes the dribble.
And outside the foul on Ritchie. Fox was ready to blow right by Ritchie.
Exactly. When a player feels that the defender cannot handle him on the dribble, as the game wears on, he gets used to it and just starts putting it on the floor. Roy Williams is going to need some weak side help here. Another out-of-bounds play.
Yep. Shillcutt gets it back for Carolina. Davis driving baseline, draws the foul. 7 fouls in the second half now on the Kansas team, only 1 on North Carolina. It's game 1 at the Final Four from the Hoosier Dome, Indianapolis. Kansas and North Carolina and the Jayhawks with the 8-point lead. Led by 9 at the half, in fact. Duke and Nevada, Las Vegas in our second game. You know, you were talking about how Hubert Davis has developed. He was an all-state wide receiver in high school. Out of Burke, Virginia. His quarterback was Todd Burnett, who's the starting quarterback at North Carolina.
Great story about him, too, being at the '76 Montreal Olympics where his uncle played with Phil Ford and hitching a ride home. Can you imagine a young kid going to see a gold medal game and then getting a ride with 2 of the stars of the game?
That was a Carolina team that put 4 players on that Olympic '76 squad.
And it added to the legacy of Dean Smith.
Maddox short.
Push off inside by Scott. He got away with it.
Fox 2-on-1. 2-on-1 to Davis. Carolina has it down to 4.
Well executed. And a good job by Jordan, too, because he didn't overcommit.
Ten-point lead cut to 4. Ritchie inside. Foul on Carolina.
Ritchie, of course, missed the Big 8 tournament with that injury. First game.
Foul is charged to number 44, Rick Fox.
Third on Rick Fox.
North Carolina, number 31.
Montross comes in along with Phelps. So Fox will sit, so will Rice. 2 seniors go out. 2 freshmen replace them. Randall runs into Kansas's lineup for Richard Scott.
You know, Jim, when you think of the young class that Roy Williams has, a lot of good solid freshmen, and what they lost off their club last year, 56% of their scoring, 60% of the rebounded, 2 guys that went into the NBA, Kevin Pritchett and Ricky Callaway. I mean, a very solid team there at Kansas last year, and put it back in the Final Four in just 1 year. I mean, it's amazing.
Ritchie hits 2 for Kansas.
The way they've been shooting free throws is particularly their style. You wonder how they ever shot so poorly.
Perimeter passing for Carolina. Setting up the 3 by Davis. The best in the ACC in that category. Missing this time. On the floor for Kansas, Randall, Jordan, Maddox, Tunstall, and Ritchie. For Carolina, Phelps, Chilcutt, Montross, Reese, and Davis. Foul away from the action.
And of course, Randall, it's on Montross. Randall wondering when the ref is going to call one. That's his 3rd.
Right back in, the 2 seniors, Fox and Rice. Phelps and Reese will go back to the bench.
And Jim,
and Lynch is in.
You talked about Davis's 3-point shooting. He had 1 for 1 earlier today, then missed that one. But coming into this game in the tournament, he was 11 for 19 of threes. So he'd really been on a roll.
His last 17 games of the season, he's been well over 50%. Double team on Ritchie. Wraparound pass to Randall. They scoot it around to Tunstall. High rebound.
Oh, good steal.
Stolen away by Tunstall. No save, although a bold attempt by Lynch. He was on the line.
Well, Lynch made the mistake putting the ball on the floor instead of making the pass off that first rebound he had, because Tunstall had a big advantage on him being down so low.
12 minutes and change remaining. Kansas 55, North Carolina 49.
Ritchie looks pretty composed out there, doesn't he?
Doesn't look like a fresh. I was thinking the same thing, Billy. Maddox now makes his move for the turnaround. Ritchie slaps it out, but no Kansas player is in the area. Now the bench is. That won't help him. It'll be North Carolina basketball when we return. Just under 12 minutes to go. Kansas with the 6-point lead.
Back at the Hoosier Dome where Kansas leads by 6. During the last timeout, Roy Williams really seemed to be enjoying himself. He was recognizing some of the Carolina plays, smiling. He said to his players, guys, you're going to see these all day. What he wants for them is a little more aggressiveness inside and also to watch out for Carolina's penetration. Jim?
All right, Leslie, I might add that Dean Smith, with a victory today, should he win this game, would have the most wins in NCAA tournament play all time. He would move past John Wood. Fox missing. Over the back was Lynch. That was an obvious call. James Brown has a report for us. JB?
All right, Jimmy, outside shots have been few and far between for Carolina. Dean Smith told his squad, do not worry about it, although our specialty baskets, those being of the backdoor variety, aren't there. He told his guys to create by driving to the basket, drawing the fouls. The way to get back into the game is to hurry up with patience. Let's get back to Jimmy.
You can see North Carolina comes out in the zone now with Brown out of the game. They're not worried about his three-point shooting. Great touch pass.
Randall had it inside perfectly to Maddox, but got caught kind of backwards underneath. Missed the layup.
Rick Fox at last time drove and did not look for the pass. He is having a very, very frustrating day. Dean Smith said to him and kind of called him over the side, said, if you're going to put the ball on the floor, you don't have to take that shot. Look for the pass. That time, he instinctively went for the pass when it wasn't there. Dean somewhat upset. Doesn't expect that out of a senior.
3 of 13 now for Fox, and he's committed 4 turnovers. Maddox inside, double team, help that time from Fox. Lynch. Oh. Carolina within 4.
Was there any question on that one? If they stay in the zone, Roy Williams will have to get Brown back in the game.
Tunstall.
Another fast break chance.
Yep, to Davis. He'll challenge 2 Jayhawks. And Randall says no way.
Oh, he calls it a basket.
You can't call that goaltending, but they do.
That
just left his hand.
Yeah, it looked like to me. You see, Davis made up his mind to take it all the way. That was an excellent block. Almost took it out of his hand. No way that that's goaltending.
Score the 2, however. Carolina within 2.
Really a gut move by Davis to take that one right to the hoop. You can see the reverse dribble. Randall looking for the backdoor cut. And Carolina goes back man.
They strip it out of the hands of Maddox.
Another fast break chance.
Fox will wait. Now he'll take the 3. Would have given him the lead.
I don't know why, Jim. He's having a bad day. He looks over at the bench. He's having a bad day, and he's forcing it by taking tough shots.
He's rejected right back. Fox with a great play on the defensive end. Good save by Kansas. Richie spin.
Oh, boy, what a play. Dean Smith is going to come back with Rodel for Fox. Try to calm the senior down a little bit.
Pump fake, drives on Richie.
That's the play.
Rodel will have to wait before he enters. Fox will go to the line for 2.
Now Jordan asking to take a little break, puts up the fist in the Carolina tradition and asks to come out. Brown will come in for him.
Rodel will in fact come in. He will come in for Davis. And Rice also sits as Phelps returns. On the floor for Kansas, Randall, Brown, Tunstall, Scott, and Richie. For North Carolina, Montross, Chilcutt, Rodel, Phelps, and Fox.
I mentioned Rick Fox played high school ball here in Indiana, was ineligible his senior year. Of course, did not get an opportunity to play one of the real top-notch prospects in the country, however, even though he did not play his senior year in high school.
Really considers Nassau in the Bahamas his home.
And plays for the Canadian national team in the summertime and will probably be a player on their Olympic squad. Now you see that Dean Smith had made the substitution, Rodel in, and then he went for someone else. Now Fox comes out with Reese in.
Richie inside, stolen away by Chilcutt. Rodel trying to get the run going. Chilcutt Play at the other end, and this end, it's Reese, and underneath. Slapped around, picked up by Terry Brown. Thought Carolina would have a break opportunity before, but they didn't see Rodel.
Yeah, they should have had. Rodel and Reese should have been a little bit closer to the foul line in that rebounding opportunity and would have had a putback.
Scott muscling, and Rodel knocks it out of bounds. A block. James Brown, what do you have for us?
Part of the rationale for Dean Smith's most recent substitutions was to give fouls. He says we've got fouls to give, no easy baskets, whack them if they go in. He's playing the clock and the statistics. Let's go back to Jimmy.
8:36 left in this game. More subs for North Carolina.
He's not the winningest coach, active coach in basketball for nothing. Interesting, the connections between Kansas and North Carolina. Dean Smith played against Frank McGuire. Then you have Dean Smith being on a national championship team, ends up at North Carolina as a coach to coach against Kansas, sends one of his assistants to Kansas. Larry Brown, another one of his famous players and assistants, goes to Kansas.
Well, that's just it. And you know, so much of the attention this week has just been on Roy Williams going against his mentor, but it's overshadowed the fact that each head coach is going against his alma mater.
We're talking about a situation here in the reset of the shot clock on that ball being knocked out of bounds. You know, interesting, as we said early in this game, we had one technical foul called on that man. There is one of the three officials that's been in a team, and he's going to his own Final Four. Got John Thompson out up in Syracuse last year. Got Calhoun out in a game, in a Big East game this year. Of course, Billy Tubbs out. He's involved in all three, so that'd be some Final Four. Tunstall down.
Yeah, he is hurt momentarily. Now right back up on his feet. Fourth foul called on Montross, Billy.
Charged to number 00, Eric Montross. Yes, 4.
Now, if you talk about committing some fouls, he's not talking about committing fouls when a shot is taken. That puts a man on the line.
A chill cut, number 32, replacing Eric Montross.
Chill cut bounces right back in. Montross with the 4 will sit.
Montross, of course, off to a very good start early in this game, and then when Kansas took control, he was kind of taken out of the offense because nobody looked down inside.
Tunstall out of St. Louis. Brought a high school teammate with him, Malcolm Nash, to the Jayhawks a couple of years back. Kansas now 11 out of 16 from the free throw line, about 70%.
Led his high school team to 30-1 record, state champs. Lynch starting to power on that board.
Lynch is having a huge second half. Here he is.
In an area where he's
good
not
pass to Fox.
Nice back cut.
1 point lead for Kansas. 8 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
You know, Jamison has been on that bench for a long time with the foul problems that he has 4. I wonder when Roy Williams is going to bring him back. I would think time is about right.
Rodel sees the moment, saw the ball.
That's
free.
A walk.
Chilcutt gets away with it.
It's a walk because he gained an advantage to make the play.
Tar Heels can take the lead.
Fox wanted the jumper.
He had his feet all set up. Back of the rim.
Really squeezing that shot off, isn't he, Jim?
He wanted the outside shot. His teammate didn't see him. 4 for 16 from the field.
There's Scott, good positioning.
Rodel comes over to help out, and not a lot of contact, but they call the foul on Rodel.
That exasperation on Rick Fox when he didn't get the shot that he was ready for, then didn't quite pinch off the jumper on the inside.
All week, people surmised this game would come down to the end. We're headed that way. Kansas will inbound with the 1 point lead. 7:25 remaining in the game. On the line is Scott. That's a turnover right back to North Carolina.
Stepped on the line, Jim, on the way down on the catch. You'd have to say that North Carolina has executed the out-of-bounds situations better than Kansas. Remember, early in the first half, Kansas had to call a timeout when they couldn't get the ball in bounds on the sideline. There's the back door.
Davis open, has a screen also from Lynch. Missed the open shot. Fox on the second tip.
Fox over the back.
Thought they could have gotten him on the first tip. That's 4 on Fox. Front court scoring is getting a little more even. Kansas had the big edge earlier. Both teams shooting poorly from the perimeter.
Here we're going to see Rick Fox now. He picks up his 4th. Interesting now. Roy Williams at the 7-minute mark, up 1, brings Jamison back in the game. He's got 8 points, 7 rebounds, but he has 4 fouls on him. Going to be critical. If he can stay in the game the rest of the way, Kansas, I think, has the advantage.
1-1, but this is a big disadvantage for the Jayhawks.
Yes, it is.
The free throw
shooting.
Carolina looking for its first lead since 29-27.
I would get the ball to Fox and let him drive on Jamison one time early to try to get him out of there.
Rice lobs it inside. 2 players were there. Lynch took it away. Now Fox.
You see, Jamison can't guard him, and Fox cannot buy one.
Jordan wanted to go inside. Now needing help. Needs some help. Oh, almost a steal.
Second steal by Tunstall.
Open is Jordan. Long rebound comes right back to him. Tunstall with another 3.
Oh, a big play. That's the second steal Tunstall made that turned away what could have been a North Carolina fast break. Remember the last time he stole it on Lynch. Big, big play.
That puts the lead at 4 for Kansas.
And again, Fox is the man. Make Jamison pick up another foul, but Fox just cannot buy one. The man who led North Carolina to the big win over Oklahoma last year, where he had a great day, is having all kinds of problems now.
Randall gets the pass over to Scott.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Dean Smith call a timeout.
14 for Richard Scott. Great assist by Randall.
Smith has not used the timeout, and I think he should have called one.
Jamison over to Jordan. The lead is back to 8.
I think he waited one possession too long, Jim.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer, along with Leslie Visser and James Brown, each team with 2 timeouts remaining. 5:31 left in the game. A moment ago, it was 58-57 Kansas. North Carolina had 3 shots from the floor to take the lead, missed them all, and in a blur, Kansas scored 7 unanswered to run it back to 8.
And had a chance to go on a fast break where Tunstall stole it and then hit the 3. So it really hurt him. And Roy Williams made a nice move here. He takes Jamison out of the game. Boy, North Carolina guys are pulling up on the jump shot, not releasing on a good follow-through at all.
Chilcutt missed the outside 3 that time. Over to Randall. They leave him open. High arching shot, no good.
All thumbs right now.
Woodbury comes away with it for Kansas. Woodbury looking for some help. Randall provides it. Brown will step in. 3-pointer. Reese with the rebound.
I don't know why Brown took that. A good working margin. Kansas should take better shots.
Led Lynch too much. His shoulder was out of bounds. Let's get Leslie Visser in. Leslie?
Jim, in the last timeout, Roy Williams told his guys to now really make Carolina work hard for every basket. He also told Jamison to stay in the game mentally, even though he's on the bench. And then he looked at every player and he said, don't even think about being tired. Jim?
Jim, a real problem, of course, for Dean Smith is he's got Rick Fox on the bench with 4 fouls, but more importantly, he has him on the bench, the guy you'd count on for the big shots, 4 for 19 on the game. Who is the go-to man for Carolina now at this point? When you look out on the floor, I'd have to say right now,
Davis?
It would have to be Davis.
Yep. They need his outside shooting, Billy. They're only 2 for 11 as a team from 3-point land. Woodbury with the basketball on the floor with Jordan, Brown, Randall, and Maddox.
Well, that ball hit off Reese's foot.
Last touch by Carolina. Kansas has it back. And let's go to James Brown.
All right, Jimmy, the psychological touches that Dean Smith used in his timeout was to calmly tell his guys, hey, let's get the guards a little more involved on the offensive end. He also told the team, ignoring most recent foul shooting statistics for Kansas, this is not a good free throw shooting team. Don't hesitate to foul them. Let's find out how good they are. Let's go back to Jim.
Under 4 minutes. James Jordan now.
Oh,
and he fell on his elbow as the basket is good. But is Jordan.
One of those crazy bone hits. Went right by. Excellent dribble penetration. He says he's all right. You can see, gets the shot, hits it perfectly, and goes down hard. North Carolina comes back with Fox. They find themselves 10 down with a chance for one more.
Tunstall comes back in for Kansas.
You think about this young man, last year second team on his own team backing up Pritchard. This year second team all Big 8. Quite an adjustment.
It's like Terry Brown wasn't even a starter for this team. Just can't get the lead any larger than 10, but with 3:49 to go, let's see what happens now.
Well, good move that time. I thought it was an excellent step out.
Call it on Jordan, his second, and 9 on Kansas, so still in the 1-1 is Carolina.
A little early to be thinking about three-point shot. How about the 2 droughts for North Carolina? Have not scored in the last 4 here, and remember the problem they had at the end of the first half. Long drought for them.
Stuck on 57. Phelps is in, bouncing in off the bench, Brian Reese. Fox goes out. Here comes Kenny Harris. That's a surprise.
Well, no. What we have right now, Jim, is Dean Smith is going to substitute for defense and to commit fouls. Yes. He's going to want to put Kansas on the line.
1-1, Hubert Davis.
How about that block out by Jordan coming across the lane?
And Lynch will take Rozier's spot. Lynch, Chilcutt, Reese, Phelps, and Davis.
Of course, these 2 teams played probably the greatest final game of all time, the triple overtime game in '57. Frank McGuire's club went on to beat Kansas and the great Wilt Chamberlain.
There's Kenny Harris, 54-53, and the other unique thing about that Final Four is Carolina had a triple overtime game in the semifinal against Michigan State.
Right.
And there's a steal. They ran right into Reese. Phelps now.
Oh, what a shot!
Rattles it home.
2 freshmen coming up with a big steal and play.
Now, Phelps is a little gun shy on some occasions, but that time he put it high off the glass, rattled around off the glass and in. 3-point opportunity, Billy.
Puts it up, using his left hand beautifully. Gets the roll perfectly on the inside. There was the steal. Freshman to freshman. An excellent drive. A good job by Maddox as well, holding his hands up, figuring that he could just create a bad shot.
Way short, and a box out move by Jordan. That was great. Fundamental move. You box out the shooter.
He did it before and caused some problems for Davis when he was shooting.
All pressure on Jamison.
But that's what Dean Smith wants. Commit the foul, stop the clock, put them on the line, and if they're a 62% free throw shooting team, let's see what they can do under pressure.
That's 9 on North Carolina. So 1-1 for Kansas, and they bring in the substitutions again with Fox and Rice and Rozier returning. Of course, the winner of this game will be playing the winner of the Duke UNLV game, which will be coming up 1/2 hour after the conclusion of this one. Alonzo Jamison with a 1-1 for Kansas.
And a tap out.
Right back to Jamison.
Boy, that foil strategy. You want to put them on the line, and then they rebound their own miss.
Randall inside. 15 for Randall.
And another good move by Roy Williams. He goes half-court zone to keep Jamison out of foul trouble, having to play somebody man-to-man.
They say Rice was fouled out high. Well, for a moment, they might call traveling.
Well, King Rice, he's trying to split the seam. He goes up. Tunstall comes down. Now, that actually should have been a foul against King Rice. Tunstall has the right to go up and vertically come down at the same place. Rice went down underneath him, and the foul called the other way.
Senior from Binghamton, New York.
King Rice shooting 2.
Will shoot 2. On the floor with Rozier, Lynch, Harris, and Phelps. But actually, Phelps about to come in for Reese.
Jim, you talked about the seniors. And you can see Rice not having a big day, Fox having a woeful day, as is Chilcutt. Sometimes for seniors, that pressure just gets to be so much it's hard to stand. I wonder how that will affect Vegas in a second game with that senior-oriented club.
There's a steal. Bad pass by Maddox, and Kenny Harris has it.
Well, all day long, North Carolina has out-executed Kansas on out-of-bounds plays.
This is not the team Smith wants on the floor offensively. He brought him in to help stir up some action, make a steal. They've done it. Now let's see what they do. Reese gets his own miss. Foul on Kansas.
Now Dean Smith will keep him out on the floor because he wants to use him for defense.
Game 1 in the national semifinals. Jim Nance and Billy Packer. With 2:43 remaining at the Hoosier Dome, Kansas by 7. The lead at one time was 10. Carolina got within 1 in this half. Had 3 opportunities to take the lead, but missed them all. Ryan Reese.
North Carolina having as much trouble on the line as is Kansas. That was wide and probably a little long.
Sullivan has come in, Billy, for King Rice. So 3 freshmen on the floor. Sullivan, Reese, and Phelps. A sophomore, Harris. And another sophomore, Lynch.
Well, Dean Smith has been a master for many years of going and that ball game at the end. He can lengthen it when he's behind, and he can go ahead and shorten it when he's on top. That's been something he's done for years. No time off the clock, but again, North Carolina not converting their own.
And Sullivan commits the foul. That's 10 on the Tar Heels. Kansas will shoot 2. Chilcutt, Davis, and Rice return, along with Rick Fox. Will he turn it around here in the final 2 minutes? His shot has been off all day.
Yes,
Billy.
it has been. Let me talk about some of these losses. Arizona State, they lost 6 for 17 from the line. Kentucky, they lost 9 for 15 from the line. Oklahoma, 12 for 18 from the line. Oklahoma State, 13 for 28 from the line. Colorado, 8 for 12. Nebraska, 15 for 28. I mean, just think if they were a good free throw shooting team, they might have come in here darn near undefeated.
Missed the last 5. Jamison stops the streak from the line. It's back to an 8-point lead for the Jayhawks.
I think North Carolina has to start thinking about some threes now. And Kansas stays in their zone.
Skip pass back over to Davis. He's the man they need. Timeout called as Smith bounces off the bench. His team within 5. 2:25 left in this game. Kansas. Will the Jayhawks hold on? Final 2:25 and a 5-point lead for Kansas with the basketball. Billy, let's talk about strategy here down the stretch.
Well, we're seeing a master at work in regard to the clock. Dean Smith, probably the best that there is in the game. What he's going to do, one thing he does not have left is but 1 timeout. That will hurt him somewhat. But he's going to foul, try to shorten this game up from a standpoint of giving Kansas very little opportunities to move with the ball. Another big break for Kansas.
But they steal it back. Sullivan. Kansas was unrattled on that inbounds play. Randall slapped, and a foul on Carolina. There's an opportunity denied. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Jim, in the last timeout, Roy Williams told his guys to watch out with their passes, keep them crisp, keep them short, don't get them picked off. He also told them to look for the 3, just what Billy Packer had mentioned, Jim.
Well, they certainly weren't crisp on the last possession, inbounding it, but a foul called on Phelps, his 4th.
Well, Jim, one of the few things that you could fault Kansas on today from an execution standpoint has been inbounding the ball on both ends of the floor, as well as stopping North Carolina's inbounds passes. And again, we're going to go back. This is going to be a free throw shooting contest for the remainder of this game.
15 points, 10 rebounds. Randall will get 2 since they're over the 10 foul limit at Carolina. They still aren't converting at Kansas. Tar Heels have the starting 5 back in.
Used it all on that one.
6-point lead. Maddox checks in for Woodbury. I still think Fox has a big shot at him. Chilcutt almost turned it over.
The seniors have become all thumbs in this game.
2 minutes to go. Fox with pressure on him. Way too strong.
That's a push off by Lynch inside. Fox now 4 for 20 in this basketball game.
And 0 for 6 from three-point land.
Yeah, I really think the go-to guy has got to be Davis. You don't want to be limited to one person, but he has been the only one today who's been inclined at all to take the good shot and bury it.
Lynch shaking his head after being called for his 4th. 2 for Maddox. 9 points for Mike Maddox. As Billy mentioned, the only man who played on the '88 championship team. Played about 40 seconds in that victory against Oklahoma.
And the 44% free throw shooter buries 2 in the net.
Rice on the drive, gets it out to Davis. Here's the three-point shot. Too strong. Chilcutt gets it back for Carolina.
Nice drive.
Left hand. Left hand by Davis. 6-point lead for Kansas.
Now, almost a steal that time by Lynch. That would have been his 5th. Now Dean Smith finds himself without his defensive team on the floor, so somebody's got to foul here. Good job by Kansas keeping the ball away in a little 4 corners action.
Oh, and Lynch will foul out as he tackled Jordan.
But that was their only opportunity. Poor Jordan, he's been down twice now hard.
Lynch will foul out with 13 points.
It'll be interesting to see. Montross would be a possibility here. It looks like it's going to be Rozier instead. It's interesting, when North Carolina had control of the game early on in the first half and could go inside, Montross became quite a factor. Now in a chase game, he becomes somewhat of a liability.
So the one starter not on the floor for Carolina will be Lynch, who has fouled out. Rozier comes in to join Davis and the 3 seniors, Fox, Rice, and Chilcutt.
And depending on this, Jim, down 6, you don't have to go for the 3s with 1:19 to go, particularly with this foul shooting situation. So see if North Carolina try to punch the ball down inside to Chilcutt or Rozier, because Kansas is going to be looking for the outside shot.
Jordan was way off on that one. 3 for 8 today for Jordan from the line. 1:19 left in the game. 7-point lead for Kansas.
Nobody back.
Rice just tips it to Chilcutt.
Smart play.
And now he'll bring it forward for Carolina.
You notice that they're really playing the shot.
Still shooting and missing. They tap it around. Back to Davis. Rice will try his hand at outside shooting.
No way.
Air ball, but underneath this box at last.
And that's the 3rd timeout and last one for Dean Smith.
58 seconds left in the game. Kansas with possession and a 5-point lead.
Seconds remaining, Carolina trailing by 5. Dean Smith told his team, fellas, we've got an eternity. We got 5 points in 7 seconds earlier in the game. Go out and give it to me now. Let's get back to Jimmy.
Well, the only way they're going to be able to do it now is to foul immediately on the inbounds pass, because they have no timeouts left.
Which way will they go?
I don't know. The referee can't figure out. He's looking down on the floor. He wasn't sure what he was going to call.
He didn't know which way to go on that one.
No, and look at Roy Williams smiling there. Without question, that hesitancy would have to bother you as a coach.
They do it right in front of the Carolina bench also. They call it on Sullivan.
And everybody looking, what is the call?
I've seen those "you make the call" commercials that actually seemed like you had a longer time to figure it out.
That one seemed like an eternity.
Yeah, this one seemed.
Of course,
long.
it was right in front of Dean Smith's bench, and that made it even tougher.
Woodbury at the line. Steve Woodbury, a freshman, told us, "I'm not a freshman anymore. I'm a freshman and a half." After what they've been through this season.
Had knee surgery in mid-October.
It's his first point of the game, Billy.
Yep.
Six-point lead for Kansas.
Player of the year in Kansas high school basketball just a year ago.
Maddox comes in for the shooter.
At 7, North Carolina now has to think about threes. The clock working against them.
Fox fakes the three, dishes to
Nice
Chilcutt.
Can't stop the clock. Got a foul.
No
Nobody
one on
there.
Jamison.
Right.
No one on him. Maddox finds an open man on the bounce pass. Wise move to step out. Tunstall.
Got a foul. North Carolina can't get to a man to foul.
And Rick Fox fouls out.
Not what that young man wanted for his return home to Indiana.
Fox fouls out with 13 points, but only 5 of 22 from the floor. He's had a terrific career for the Tar Heels.
Oh, Dean Smith got his second technical. He is out of here. And I said a Final Four for Pete Pavia. That's the 4th time he has thrown a coach out. Dean Smith is gone. And Billy Tubbs, the first man ever to be thrown out of an NIT game by that man. And now Dean Smith is gone out of the NCAA.
And probably takes his team with him, because now they'll be shooting 4 free throws.
Yes,
and
the
possession.
ball out of bounds.
And possession. Pete Pavia.
Boy, you talk about a quick whistle.
Earlier this week, was it Pavia who made the technical call? He earlier this week goes for the double in the same week. He threw out Billy Tubbs
in the NIT
final.
And you see Dean talking to Roy Williams. Very interesting here. On Labor Day weekend every year, Dean Smith invites back his men that are in coaching, and you can see him congratulating the Kansas players. And they sit down and do nothing but have a long weekend of fun, relaxation, and talk basketball. And now we see Dean Smith being ushered from the arena, the Hall of Famer.
With 2 technicals, he is out of the game. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Jim, according to Dean Smith, all he said was, "How much time do I have left? How much time do I have left?" And that was it. He certainly doesn't think he should have been thrown out for that. Jim?
Well, the answer was, you have no time. They tossed him. And I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about that after the game. 4 free throws coming for the Jayhawks.
And Jim, they were down just 5. 35 seconds to go.
You know, Billy, he was way out of the coaching box. Would they have called him for that?
No.
Adonis Jordan with 1 more. Now they'll let Jordan. There's backstage now. Dean Smith heading to the Tar Heels locker room. They'll let now Jordan shoot the technicals.
Well, he may be smiling, but down inside, you know how that hurt him.
Yep. Well, Jordan's made 1 out of 3,
and here's Bill Guthridge, who has played in 2 Final Fours as a coach, but not at Kansas, but the Kansas Heritage again at K-State.
Also in the 50s. Last free throw. So Jordan makes 2 out of the 4. How much time do we have? I can read that.
Well, you know, we had a baseball player had some problems reading lips, but it looked like Dean Smith said exactly that. How much time do I have? That was a quick technical in the first half, and even a quicker one there.
7-point lead and possession. 30 seconds to go. Somebody's got a foul.
Well, we know of one team now in the final game.
Rice fouls Tunstall. Well, let's go back. Follow-up time from Leslie.
Just now, I just spoke with Dean Smith, and he said that he thought that the referee had a short fuse on the first. Ejected for the second one. He said he was trying to get the referee's attention. He certainly didn't think it warranted being thrown out. He shrugged his shoulders and marched into the locker room quite distressed. Jim.
And I'm sure embarrassed as well to be tossed out of the semifinal game, but there will be other coaches who will support that theory that there was a short fuse on the part of the officials.
Jim, I thought the technical in the first half was awful quick, considering this ball game. It was no tirade. Dean Smith hardly even verbalized and got a quick one there, and this one's certainly quick as well.
3-pointer. Harris blocking out with the rebound. Kansas on the line. They say the Jayhawks. They'll give it back to the Tar Heels.
Jim, you think back of Dean Smith's times in the Final Four. Went in 67, lost his opening ball game. Then in 68, got to the final against UCLA. Then he lost his opening ball game to Purdue in 69. So and the same way in the case for 1972. Got to the finals in 77 against Marquette. And I got to the finals against IU in 81. And then, of course, to the final when he won in 82. And now they will be out in the opening game here in 91.
Well, they clear the benches for the final 4 seconds. Get him in the box score. Matt Winstrom in. Keldon Salvadori. Scott Cherry. Harris misses. Davis follows. They score the basket. And Kansas wins it. 79 for Kansas.